where Keen kind of got the lanes that they wanted, right? They got the Omni Knight versus that Bat Rider. The Bat Rider unable to pressure the hard carry of Keen, and then the PA in turn can do potentially a lot of work against Whisper, but we're seeing that Schofield is having a significant impact in the lane thanks to his tag team.
And this mid lane matchup relatively even ever since they took away the deny mechanic at bottom lane.
Toss back, Hector. Just trying to deal with this pull that was happening from Keen. Either team would love to be able to pick up a kill in the next like 10 seconds, as we do have the bounty runes spawning. And I'm thinking Schofield should be able to secure at least one of them top, so we'll see what Hector and Stinger are able to do in this bottom lane.
Almost feel like Schofield should just rotate towards that bottom lane. I don't know how much he gets accomplished at top. Believe you just want Whisper to just get levels right now. Is he's gonna make his way towards the rune, gonna find the sentry.
Yeah, it looks like the aggro dual lane should be able to get the 2, and Tuss secures another one on the other side of the map. So that's gonna be 3 for Infamous, including that. The mid lane matchup, 33-5 now for Chris Luck against Yee's Kunkka, 28-5. Is this how this matchup is supposed to go now that some of the deny mechanics have been taken away?
Oh yeah, normally you'd see the TA at like 12 denies at this point, but because the deny mechanic's been taken away, the Kunkka does just fine. The only thing that's sort of annoying for him is the regen fight, just because it's so hard for him to burn out refraction charges.
Perhaps that's part of the reason he's gone for Bottle. Courier's been spending a lot of time in that mid lane. We'll see whether or not he can get the 6-minute rune.
I think part of the reason why he decided to go for the Bottle is so he could play around the power runes, just gank out the side lanes. He doesn't really have a support that can rotate in and get an easy kill for him in mid lane.
Yeah, Witch Doctor and Rubik both kind of, they don't have great amount of kill power solo, right?
Yeah, and Schofield gonna make the rotation down towards bottom.
Hector's quite low. This could be our first blood. Snowball's coming in. He does manage to pick up Hector, but Hector does get burned out. Kaka secures the first blood before he goes down. Old 11 with the Heavenly Grace is actually going to turn and fight Stinger back. Even with the Firefly up, Omni Knight remains unafraid of the flames.
Chris Luck finds the DD rune at bottom lane.
Oh, with the double trap slow. Is he really gonna die?
Oh, he gets the courier!
Oh, Yee! Miss micro there, leaves the courier right behind his hero. That just sets it up for a clean side blades kill.
That's just one of those situations where you don't, it never really happens.
Yeah. You just don't really think about it until it's too late.
Oh, he just sent it directly back, didn't even bother microing it, thought he was fine as he's gonna make the rotation down towards bottom. That's what I expected, for him to try to get aggressive into the side lanes. Plus, I think that's a little bit of a tilt move.
It's just
like getting a kill on a Tusk at that point doesn't even feel that good.
Yeah.
But once you mess up in that situation, you want to make the play that recovers it.
Stun out from Hector. Schofield moving forward with Stinger. But again, feeling like they just really can't pressure this last pick Omni Knight. They came out from Keen that was supposed to be able to address both the physical damage that comes out from the Wraith King and the TA, while also providing a dispel against this Bat Rider.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but as an offlaner at bottom,
just quickly takes away that Ray Fire Blast slow damage over time, and again, is able to push back Infamous. They really just can't get aggressive like they want to.
If you're playing Omni in a game like this, normally the only time that your game is actually ruined is if your laning phase is bad, right?
Yeah.
And if you get the levels, I mean, your hero sort of just becomes unkillable anyways.
Yeah, it's like one of those great situations both the Bat and Omni Knight are in, right? It's like, as long as I get to level 3 and level 5, I'm just going to feel more and more powerful.
This is one thing, by the way, that Infamous does more than almost any other team. They stack the living hell out of the jungle.
Yeah.
They make sure, Hector, don't worry how your laning phase goes. You're going to get recovered in some way or another. And this is exactly how they do it.
And this is one of the things that we said is like, sometimes, you know, they would just leave Whisper in these really terrible lanes, but it's not a bad idea to give Whisper a good lane because of how much they focus giving Hector and Chris Luck these free neutrals, these free stacks and such. Hector taking a big nuke out from that purification, toss back, but now the telekinesis is gone. Hector will TP to the shrine on the other side of the map, trying to be as efficient as possible. Hector always has really good reads about that stuff.
Yeah, are they going to swap lanes entirely then? If
And
Hector makes the rotation up towards his top lane, I feel like they have to.
Yeah,
Whisper probably has to go bottom.
Whisper is about to pick up level 7, so he's more
Chicken.
than
They're going to go on him.
Red Bull Chicken is going to be caught here. The snowball actually went up to the neutrals. Schofield just trying to get closer to Old Chicken, it seems, after the flourish, but Old Chicken just can't get far enough away from Whisper with the Ice Shard to be able to finish him off. Whisper starts laying some damage out onto Old 11. Quick E is going to pull him back into the combo here, but they don't really have the damage to threaten this.
They want to go on Dark right now.
Levels of the heal, and now they're going to be able to get the slowdown onto Dark. A fresh snowball is up. Nice shots. He's got 1 or 2 left, but the cast just perfectly sent out at the last moment.
And a very good Torrent at the same time. Otherwise, probably would have gone the extra hit onto the Witch Doctor to get the kill, but E right now, not a whole lot of successful rotations. And he's going to get out-farmed by this TA in the jungle. He really wanted to make these plays work, but Enchantress just doesn't die in those positions.
No, she does not, since like everybody's been going for the Nature's Attendance maxed out. It's so hard to challenge this hero, and Whisper is actually staying in this lane right now, as they're going to be able to catch Dark, who's trying to protect his tower, gets the vision up, but immediately Infamous kill him, make sure they get the bounty runes, and now Whisper's going to rotate over. He waits until they've secured the bounty runes first, and it looks like he may have just gotten 3 for his team, almost killing Kaka as well, but a fast reaction from Kaka that TP out. Whisper knows the damage wouldn't come fast enough.
And they did swap the lanes out. During that entire time, Stinger was farming bottom. They didn't make the rotation until late, just because Whisper was able to get that kill and Hector defaulting to the jungle. And Old 11 is doing the right thing right now, Cap. He's staying on top of Hector. He's making his laning phase as annoying as possible. He knows that he TP'd up here, and Whisper TP'd at bottom, so they're reluctant to make the switch.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be in the one-on-one matchup against this Enchantress now that she actually has all the damage that comes out from Impetus. The smoke up, the first big maneuver here from Keen Gaming, looking
I like this
for a
move a lot.
successful move to shut down Hector once again. They have done their research. They know exactly how Infamous likes to be able to play, and that is stacking the best thing possible for Hector. And with a rotation like this, they've secured at least 1 death on him, and no rotations from Infamous. It looks like they're just going to leave Hector out to dry potentially, as Stinger kind of rotates over, but Hector is going to be caught by another X marks the spot, and he just stops moving. He knows his life is forfeit, and it's all space as Whisper tries to take down that bottom tier 1.
That is such a nice rotation, because they see that Schofield is low and mid and he's fighting Old Chicken. They know he's not going to TP in. Whisper just TP'd into bottom lane, so not a lot of support coming from him, and that's part of what Wraith Kings rely on, is that fear that nobody will go on them at all because of the counter rotations.
Yep.
But the timing of that was just almost too good for Keen not to take advantage of.
And that means Keen will not only kill the Wraith King, but they'll also, all that space that was given to the Enchantress to take that tower, they just even things out. Telekinesis toss back there. It's going to be able to lasso on Kaka, but not actually pulling him to the TA for fear of a boat coming in. And Chris Luck trying to, oh no, there's a sentry already placed, so immediately gets stunned up. Whisper's now in trouble. Nature's Attendant trying to save him. The snowball back into the team. Oh, it's going to the boat there. He also has the knowledge. He punches up in the air, but they all just get wiped in the river. Infamous completely misread that situation and bleed out heroes very rapidly.
There are 5 heroes right now on the side of Keen. They want to take this mid tower. Infamous, maybe they just thought it was going to be some 3-on-3 where they could back them up, but everybody from Keen made the rotation over, and as a result, they're going to get rewarded with this mid tower. So crucial to the rest of their game, because against a team like Infamous that decides to go these hands of Midases on their carry every game, you want to punish this.
Yeah.
You want to get into his jungle. You want to force him out. Old 11 is a hard kill. He can do moves like this.
I mean, just little things like being able to take like 1 neutral camp away from this Wraith King. That's not going to be bad. He even body blocks it. He just goes through and is going to try and catch more CS, just kills the skeletons.
Yeah, you have a TA that wants to farm one side of the triangle. You have a Wraith King that wants to farm the other. They don't have the easiest way to push out lanes. It's really just the Bad Rider 5 position that does it, and he doesn't really have the levels to do it cleanly. So you're put into a weird position where Stinger gonna run into Old 11, but they don't really have map pressure like they'd like to.
Nice.
So losing that mid tower is pretty big.
They do manage to get the ops.
Oh, bottom lane.
Dark actually kills one as well. Oh, the melt missed there. An Old Chicken dances away into the trees. I don't think Chris Luck really thought he could get the kill there. And oh dear, he may be caught. The Tuss is coming in, trying to save the day. Ice shards, okay, that's in the wrong direction, a little off, but Chris Luck's going to turn and try and fight Yi with Coco's Rum as well as the Spirit Vessel. He is going to be able to snowball into the neutrals, but again, Keen Gaming just bringing the extra heroes here to be able to take the fights, ensuring that they will bring down Infamous every single time they meet these heroes. They know that Hector's too busy farming, that as long as they 5-man, they'll be able to take any fight against Infamous. Now they're going to be able to catch Whisper as well with the Spirit Vessel, preventing a lot of that heal. The early pickup from Yi, just a smart read of this game and how to be able to dismantle Infamous.
And Infamous, it feels like they're rushing their moves. Going on a PA in that position, just as a solo TA, you're almost definitely not going to get the kill.
Yeah,
if you looked at the timer too, she was about to get another creep wave connecting to her, so she could have always just blinked back.
Look at this, I love this. Keen. They get kills like this, and then they're just immediately going to smoke to the other side of the map.
And the entire team is farming right now. You have a Tusk that's hitting neutrals, a Bat Rider that's hitting neutrals. Hector trying to push out this top lane because he knows that somebody has to.
That could not have been a more beautiful read. The sucker punch from Kaka as he'd stolen that one away. He's even going to be able to get Nature's Tendon. Surprising that Whisper is still alive even through that Spirit Vessel. That Yi just said, oh, that's the kill, and ran to look for more. Now he has to come back to make sure they finish the job. Whisper finally dies.
Did take quite a bit, and that's going to open up some space, but it never feels good having to trade deaths for space. And that's what Infamous has to do right now. They still have a pretty good gold advantage, despite the fact that Keen has gotten the last 5 kills in a row. Everyone just kind of farms really quickly on the side of Infamous. That's what Hector's known for, being put into these weird positions where his team gets behind early in kills and loses map control, but still finding space on the map.
Yeah, you pointed this out during the group stage, is that Hector is actually well regarded by a lot of the Western players as being a very proficient farmer.
Yeah, and once he gets his Radiance, the next timing will hit. But I sort of feel like with Wraith King, once you get the Radiance, if anything, it just speeds up your farming time even more.
Yep.
So you probably just want to continue to hit creeps almost.
Yeah.
At least for the next 3 or 4 minutes after that fact. You want to take advantage of the fact that you can clear creeps so quickly. On one hand, you can use the skeletons that you spawned to farm 1 stack, and then you can push out the lane using the Radiance.
It almost feels like these Wraith Kings get Radiance, and then they just keep farming until they have like level 18 and like 1 or 2 items past that Radiance. They want to be able to reach that like really dangerous mid game that like Alchemists do.
Yeah, I don't think you're fighting this Kunkka heads on early.
No.
If you look at his item build, he's decided to go for the Spirit Vessel.
And that will mean that the scaling of Keen Gaming may fall off with the amount that they're 5-manning running around the map. You can see the win probability, though, heavily favoring the home team.
Yeah, I think the idea is that PA is going to outcarry any of them, which might not entirely be wrong. If you just look at the sheer lack of disables that they have for him.
X marks the spot on Schofield. No snowball, and he's going to be caught in disable after disable. The snowball is going to come a bit too late unless the ice shards can separate the two, but there's just another X marks the spot.
Again, they just have to trade deaths for space. What they're really trying to do is divert them away from the tower giant out cap.
And they are kind of doing that. They've only lost 2 towers so far, but surely, like, Keen is still keeping up in net worth, and at some point in time, especially with the PA Battle Furies, you're gonna reach this really big power spike, and you should just be able to start mowing down towers. Febby was said he would be surprised to see the PA Battle Fury. Why do you think Old Chicken went for it this game?
I think almost all PAs in situations like this would go Battle Fury. It feels good as a farming mechanic. It makes it so that you don't feel so all in the mid game. Plus, it's just one of those items, like, it feels good all around because it gives you mana regen too.
Yeah. So we could see from Old Chicken's current predicament, we definitely use a little bit more mana. Stinger going for the creep cut right now, being chased by Yi's
They're just going in for Roche.
Even the boat being thrown out here. Stinger is going to get spotted finally. He actually goes for the lasso TP away. Q play by Stinger. It does manage to buy a lot of space, but the rest of the team is focusing on Roshan. As we've been talking about, doesn't look like Infamous is looking for a fight.
What's weird is this was a first pick PA, but it looks really good against all of Infamous's heroes. Like, for the most part, all the cores are physical damage dealers. They rely on the hit. And this is like the weirdest read that I've seen in a draft.
Yeah.
They're like, we know all your heroes. It fits into this category. PA is going to be against all of them.
Keen. He's smoked up immediately after the Roshan. Hoping to be able to catch somebody here, but all the important heroes on the other side of the map. Whisper is pushing out the bottom lane while the Wraith King farms up that jungle area. Just about to complete his Radiance, but Keen Gaming know there's no reason to slow anything down. They just want to make sure that Stinger doesn't actually catch anything. Oh, they do have the X on Dark, so he's going to be pulled back after a quick heal.
And the side lane push out, we've seen this so often from the side of Infamous. They want to avoid these fights early on. And they're even pressuring this bottom tier 2 towers. The skeletons are going to work, but he kind of briefly TP back. He wants to continue that pressure. Mid lane, Schofield almost out.
Does get jumped on, but no disables.
And they're just buying really good time right now.
Yeah.
They've taken the tower up at top. There's a BKB on this Templar Assassin. And they finished the Radiance. This is pretty good item timings, despite not getting a kill for so long.
I think Keen Gaming have almost focused too much on trying to catch these heroes that are split pushing them, and just there is a lack of objective pushing, right?
Yeah,
on the
that's
side
what
of
Febby
Keen,
said
they
too.
just don't have great heroes to hit towers.
He wanted something that could hit towers.
Yeah.
In the draft as the last pick, but they decided to go for the Omni Knight. You have a very 5-man heavy lineup as a result. Plus you went the Spirit Vessel on the Kunkka.
Yep.
It's going to work in the first 30 minutes of the game, but eventually this build, it'll start to fall off.
It seemed like a cute idea, especially with the way that he could like X marks and then defend that like bottom lane push by just one shot and then back to the mid lane he goes, or the way he tried to hunt down the Batrider to prevent him from being able to split push. But in the end, addressing just one of these lanes hasn't been enough. There's always been a second lane that's being pushed in and objectives are being bled away.
The one thing about it is Infamous is out farming them across the board, and they're going to grab this tier 2 tower. So somehow, despite not getting any kills, they're just getting more towers than Keen Gaming. But what it does come down to in Dota, and especially at TI, is the team fights. So we'll see if they're able to keep up in that department. They have such a physical damage-dealing core lineup, and there's an Omni Knight on one side, and you've got Blur on the PA, naturally very good.
Yeah, it's definitely like Infamous. They can split push all they want, but you pretty much always, in order to win a game of Dota, have to be able to beat the enemy team in a team fight. So Infamous are going to have to take that eventually, and it's going to be against a Deso PA, as that's closing in pretty quickly. Going back for the minus on Whisper. He says this is going to be a long one, and I'm going to plan accordingly.
I would agree, because Keen doesn't have catch. If your offlaner doesn't come with catch, it usually means that you're not going to take the easiest of fights. So you just sort of have to fight. You don't have that option to just roam with 2 heroes and get kills easily. So you're going to run into the BKB TA. This might be the worst target for them to run into.
TA is going to be able to get off the BKB, jumps into the back line, but there is going to be safe from the Omni Knight. Kaka's going to be okay for now until big punch from Schofield to be able to finish him off. Schofield will be sacrificed in turn as the paralyzing cast, slowing down both
Hector's here now.
And Whisper, but they're going to show up. Finishing the stun on Old 11. Look at that damage coming out from this Enchantress. Headley Grace won't save you, my friend. The Omni Knight falls, and Chris Luck looking to be able to load his next hero, Old Chicken. He needs a target to be able to jump away to, and he's got one in Yi, but a big shot from the Impetus. It does miss. The Tusk snowballing in. Ice shards forward. The Raid Fire Blast nails the PA. Can they overwhelm him?
What a dive this is.
This is a dive that will be able to win the fight.
And they're going to surround this PA right now. Ulted up by the Batrider. Nowhere for her to go.
Absolutely nowhere. Jumps over to the Kunkka, but they had the Ice Shards well in place to be able to block her
take
out.
this tower
That
too.
is 4 dead, and yeah, tier 2 is going to fall just like that.
And Infamous has answered the question. All they needed was that one team fight. They didn't get a kill for something like 12 minutes, and it happens in a hurry. And 23 minutes in, they're threatening for the tier 3.
Do a little bit of damage, not trying to push their luck. And I think that's something that, you know, Infamous, and there were points where I think they got a little undisciplined. They lost some of the games because of that, but one thing that they really didn't do too much was try and push high ground before they were actually ready, and this is a good example of that. Maybe it's just because in part of how much they love to be able to farm. As we look back at that fight, and see Old Chicken just try and make escape after escape. But Infamous, you say Keen, you know, lacking catch, Infamous has a plethora of it.
Yeah, the pride of South American Dota. I mean, they're able to just follow up so easily. They have stun after stun. They've got multiple ways to gap close. They've got blink daggers aplenty. And I feel like Keen, they almost missed their timing window by 5-manning too much. They would often take these smoke ganks where they just run into one hero. It took them way too long to kill Whisper when they did run into the jungle and found him. And all it really did was open up space for his 2 side lane cores.
Look at that.
And the one
Midas from Hector.
The one thing that we know about Infamous is like they farm really well,
yeah,
and really efficiently. And it almost feels like Keen, I mean, they got way too gun shy. Once they got the Aegis, they weren't really willing to commit for the push. They kept dealing with the side lane assault, and it just lost them so much time. But they're going to go for the 5-man again. I think they're sort of resigned to this fate with their item builds and the type of heroes that they have. They've got to go for this raid boss PA. But even having an Omni Knight behind her, she still needs a BKB.
And their goal, right, is to be able to convince Infamous to come back and fight them. But Infamous are refusing to do so and just keep on pushing the other side of the map. So eventually, Keen, they may be the ones to come back in style. They're going to try and defend this here to at least get a team fight out of it, but they're going to be a little slow to arrive as Kaka does manage to get the telekinesis as a Rain Fire Blast to be able to get the chain stun.
They're committing to this fight.
They don't really want to jump Hector right away. They're not going to overly commit into this reincarnation. They finish him up and then start retreating, especially with that Heavenly Grace on Old Chicken, allowing him to back away from these slows pretty easily. The X marks the spot, allows him to be able to jump back in for the toss snowball. Actually bought the time, and now the last one, Old Chicken, fades away nice and fast from the Heavenly Grace, but there goes that on the ultimate. It will be able to buy some time with the pure damage coming out from the Enchantress, doing so much to Old Chicken, he actually has to back away, and without the Old Chicken, they're lacking on damage. Infamous knows that. They're just going to march forward, catch whatever heroes they can. That's only going to be the Omni Knight for now, with Infamous say, great, fantastic, we got a tier 2, we didn't lose the team fight, let's back up, control the map again.
That is a very head-scratching decision to try to go on Hector, who, I mean, he already has the ultimate up. And this is not an easy kill either. He opted to go for the Blade Mail so that he could just get a little bit more armor and to try to dissuade the PA from going in on him. And Keen, they really rely on that Coco's Rum. So when they threw in the boat just to take out the first life, it's so hard for them to get any sort of follow-up damage.
Yeah, if it was like, if they could have actually brought him down without that, and then commit the boat into the second life and take that big team fight, would have been fantastic. You saw how low Hector got in that second life, but it was just too much as that Schofield snowball, and then the damage comes out from the Enchantress, threatening the PA's life. Once the PA's out of that fight, Keen have nothing left.
And you see smiles abound on the side of Infamous. They're happy about this game. They know the pace of the game is definitely favoring them right now. And for Keen, it almost feels like they're feeling the pressure. They're going for these ill-advised 5-mans, and they're taking whatever fights present themselves, but they really need a BKB on this PA. Even though the blur is very good, they're just sort of chunking her down with magic damage.
Perhaps the pressure of being able to play in front of the home crowd is getting to Keen, and how they've gotten so gun-shy. They just don't want to be making any mistakes. They're playing not to lose rather than playing to win. And Infamous, they're only looking at victory right now with an 8,000 net worth lead at 27 minutes in. Very few kills, but that's been to Infamous' advantage with all these Hand of Midases and farming heroes.
Yeah, and they've got a BKB now on the Raid King too. I mean, they're in prime position in this game. And could you imagine if I told you that this is what was going to happen? Infamous for most teams and for most analysts was a bottom 2 team. For a lot of teams, this would be a free draw, but I mean, they're proving they don't roll over for anybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Compared to our previous best of 1 with Team Liquid there, I'm sure Keen thought they were pretty fortunate to be able to get Infamous instead. But as you said, the South American Powerhouse is proving not to just roll over. They will have a fight, though. Keen, nice snowball coming out. Schofield going to be able to save Whisper, but can he actually get him out in time to torrent the boat? Almost enough damage, and he is able to get the final swing. Now a stolen lasso coming out from Kaka as he does manage to grab Chris Luck, taking away a lot of that BKB timing. And Infamous know that with Whisper gone, they can no longer take this fight confidently. They're going to try and retreat, make sure they don't lose any more heroes. Schofield will manage to slide away with that Blink Dagger.
Roshan is up though, and they're pinging in that area. Old Chicken already going to start this for his team. Enchantress doesn't have buyback yet, and with no lasso on the board, Infamous might be a little bit more reluctant to take this fight. There's no BKBs. Hector just going to run in.
About to come back in. Look at that. Chris Luck immediately
on the back line.
What a snowball onto Old 11 and Kaka controlling him up. The telekinesis toss back does help get some control, but it's not good enough as Stinger flying over them. On the side, we do have, they're trying to chase away this toss as best as possible. He's
the melt strike.
But Hector, melt strike after melt strike. Chris Luck being able to bring down Dart again. Now Old 11. Schofield's trying to get away, still away from that X marks the spot, but look at him now. He's taunting. He's saying, you can't finish me off, boyo. I've got the Walrus Punch. That's the touch that Infamous need to claim Roshan.
And now this half HP Roche is just theirs for free. I mean, Infamous is just thoroughly outplaying Keen right now. They're consistently getting to the back line. Keen can't protect either of their supports right now. It feels like this Omni Knight's job is too complicated. His head is on a swivel right now. He's trying to get to his cores. He has to turn around to help his supports out. And they're just going to go for it right now. There is a glyph available, but with so much time left on this Kunkka, 36 seconds until he respawns, doesn't have buyback. Infamous, they're going to take this tower very quickly with the Deso.
They certainly are, especially if Hector can get out some skeletons as well. 10 seconds on that. 20 seconds on the Kunkka. We have a fresh BKB on the Phantom Assassin.
He needed one so badly. The Omni has to be able to protect the back line.
It just seems like Keen in that last Roshan fight, probably not expecting Infamous to take the fight to them 4 versus 5. Got a little lax in their positioning around the pit.
Yeah, the supports got completely caught out, and suddenly the numbers advantage swung the other way.
I mean, just Dark immediately out of the fight with Chris Luck executing him, and then they just get stuck in this funnel of death in the river area, which Infamous are going to be able to work really well around between the Radiance Burn, the Firefly that's out from Stinger where he can play on the cliffs, Schofield being chased by E this entire time, but had multiple ways to be able to save himself with ice shards and snowballs.
By the way, if you just check the amount of farm that Chris Luck has, he has an MKB and a Daedalus completed up. 1,200 gold on top of that.
That is massive, and he's being greedy too. He's holding on to the Aegis and the cheese, even with the Deso, or the Daedalus rather, in his backpack.
And you could see the distress on Yee's face. When they flash to him, he can sense that this game is rapidly getting out of hand. They can sense it slipping away. And Infamous, I mean, they're getting stronger as the minute passes by. They're marching down mid again. They've got 2 lives on their TA. They've got 2 lives on the Wraith King. There's so much that Keen have to deal with just to win a team fight at this point.
Schofield making drawings up to the top lane and bottom lane. I think he just wants to be able to hem Keen in as much as possible.
Look at that discipline from Infamous.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I mean, Hector looked like he kind of just wanted to go straight into that bottom lane of barracks through the mid lane, but Schofield said now is not the time. We still have shrines up, guys. We have plenty of time on this Aegis. There's no need to rush things.
And they are looking like such a veteran team right now.
Yeah.
They're pushing in the lanes before they go for some sort of blind push. And that's what Keen did, if you recall. Keen sort of just went for it down mid while their 2 side lanes were in distress. But Infamous is being cautious. All their lanes are in a good position, and now they're just going to go for it.
Hector starts banging on the tier 3 Chris Luck, not joining him too much, make it a shot or 2. just to be able to... Oh no, he's going to jump forward immediately, take out Kaka, popping his BKB, looking for his next target. The Heavens Halberd is going to be able to buy some time for Dark, but not long enough as he just gets two shot right away. That's a double kill for Chris Luck with the Melt Strike, getting the bashes in. Omni-Knight finally forced to be able to throw out his ultimate, but now he's being pulled back and all that pure damage. Triple kill for Chris Luck. He looks for his next target. The boat coming in. He's going to take his time, backing up. He has the Blink Dagger coming back in. Old Chicken doesn't manage to jump in and finish off Schofield, but another Heavens Halberd on to Chris Luck, stalling up this damage. Old Chicken tries to throw the daggers after him, but this Templar Assassin with the refraction.
They're going for Megas right now.
Tanky, and they're just going to go for the Megas. They're going to force reaction out of Keen Gaming. They say you have to fight right now. 8-3 versus 5, or Megas is ours.
And they've already taken the top racks with the skeletons, and bottom shortly to follow. 33 minutes in, they've taken Megas.
Because of the X, got a free jump on to the Kunkka, and just like that, they managed to get the Megas, and now Old 11, he gets executed quickly on the spot. He slowed down, paralyzed the cap bounce between the two of them, though, with the bone on top of it. Chris Luck does take a large share of this damage. He does have the Aegis, though, and he's okay with this, especially thinking kill Old Chicken, Impetus after Impetus, coming in from Whisper, finally able to finish off the PA. She buys back, but Team Gaming stuck inside their base, and Hector says, that's where I want to go. I want to go all the way into the fountain. I want to find some more kills, but he knows he may just overstepped himself a little bit. They do have the snowball. Now they jumped outside of the fountain. Hector's really trying to fight. Quickly taking out the PA. Thanks to Whisper, laying out the damage. Keen Gaming are forced into the fountain once again, and that's GG Gaming. Called a GG and Infamous make it past the best of ones.
Unbelievable. South America, you have your champions. They have secured themselves a top 12 berth at this international.
They fulfilled every expectations that people had for the South American teams. They went into that last major, they went into that epicenter, and they bottomed out just like South America's done almost every single time when it comes to these DPC events, when it comes to TI. But here, Infamous, the Peruvians and the Soul Bolivian in Whisper have proven that they finally are here to be able to take TI by storm. They finish off Keen Gaming in front of their home crowd and have now moved on into the best of threes. And with that, Infamous moving forward, we're also going to move forward as we have another best of one. It's moving late into the night. We've got Shiver standing by.
Mineski's turn to pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Mineski's turn to ban.
Ogre Magi!
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Navi's turn to ban. Mineski's turn to ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Raging Potato, maybe an Invoker.
The interesting ban from Navi is the Lifestealer. I thought that they could have kind of thought about the Lifestealer for themselves. It is a little concerning with the Shadow Demon's ult, but they have a good vehicle in the Earth Spear, and I think it lanes well against the Ogre, so it's kind of surprising that they're banning their own Lifestealer.
Guess they must have something else in mind, at least as far as the carry goes, if they're going to be banning it out. As we will see also the Void and Dazzle removed from Mineski. Get ourselves into the next pick stage. I feel like this man here on your screen, Nico Baby, as a carry, giving him a good start, giving him a good lane has been really key for Mineski. Because he, to me, is very similar to Hector from Infamous, where it's like he wants to farm, hit, like whether it's a Midas Radiance hero or something else, his item timings are really important.
He's really good at those, but he's also really good at the Jug type of hero. In the qualifiers, he played a lot of Jug. He would kind of sit in the lane, farm. Once he gets his items, he would rotate a lot with his team. And they would play really fast around him. They would get a bunch of towers. They would take a lot of team fights. So he kind of plays multiple styles with the team. And his team as well will focus on him or Moon. So they're a little versatile. Some teams will prefer to go for their carry or for their mid. But this is one of the teams I think that can kind of flex their priority hero.
Yeah, with Navi's Beastmaster pickup, the team fight even looks more stronger. They have 2 BKB peers, so much AoE. And there it is, the Wraith King from Mineski. It's one of Nico's favorite carry heroes.
Something Navi must have expected, because it is one of Mineski's most picked heroes so far. I think they had like a pretty high 75-80% win rate on it over like 5 games maybe. And Navi instantly picked Sven.
Yeah, I think they did their homeworks. Maybe they were kind of baiting the pick. But Sven shreds Wraith King.
Yep.
Wraith King low armor. The cleave can deal with skeletons in the early game if they ever pressure the Sun's tower. Gives your team armor, so the Wraith King can't really burst you. It works well with the Beastmaster as well. One of the things Sven lacks, he has high damage but low attack speed.
Okay.
So the Beastmaster is going to kind of buff him up in the early game.
5 seconds remaining.
So what Mineski team, what Mineski needs right now, it's on wave push / team fight.
From the mid? What about a Death Prophet here from Mineski?
Yeah, it's a very high chance, high likely pick. But,
They even have the save for the Shadow Demon.
yeah, but I'm kind of worried about their wave push because Ogre as position 3 doesn't push out waves that well, and so does DP.
He can buy a Midas. Get a triple quad multicast.
Turn
Waves off.
Oh, Enigma. That's a KP
Team fight
Enigma
hero.
for sure. That's a KP Enigma.
You think BO1 KP's playing out the Enigma?
Yeah, like I
Yeah.
said before, he wants, like in these BO1s, you want to go out with your best hero if you're going out. So I think rather than being the correct pick, they're looking at like their most confident hero. But I'm not so sure if this was the pick because there's a lot of Enigma counters.
Yeah, they have 2 heroes that deal with Black
Exactly.
Hole, BKB Black Hole. That
Warlock, Beastmaster Roar. There's a lot of stuff. And like, I don't know.
But the way we may see it played is going to be more momentum based, where you get the fast either Helm, Mech, Greaves, get those team-fight items and
definitely.
push with your team.
Yeah. So
Play
how-
around your catapults.
So how to play against the Warlock with Enigma is you just go team fight items. You don't go you don't itemize to use Black Hole ever because this Warlock's just gonna AFK in the back lines. Then you want to be somewhat useful in the front line by providing team fight items.
Yep.
I could see Mineski doing an aggro tri-lane against this Sven. You put the Enigma versus the Beastmaster, and you can convert his boar off cooldown. Kind of gives this really nice lane for you. If you have a sentry, you kill a hawk. And then the Sven, I think, will suffer. The Warlock, once these sustained lanes where you just Shadow Word your carry, the lane gets slowed down, you both heal up, you free tangos out, basically. But in an aggro tri-lane, you're going to 100-0 someone with those heroes. Fire Blast, Wraith King Stun, Disruption.
Yep.
I think it's a little scary for Na'Vi right now.
I played with Mushi time to time, and he prioritizes wave pushing a lot. So I'll be kind of surprised if we're not seeing like Lina, TA, like these kind of wave pushers.
One hero Moon plays, Tinker. Is there any chance we see a Tinker? That's the king of wave push. It's hard against Beastmaster Hulk. That's already got vision for you, but
Yeah, Na'Vi does have a lot of good ways to catch the Tinker, but yeah, we can definitely see some Tinker.
Especially with the Broodmother ban.
Turn to
Oh, Lina.
Okay. It's a little more stable. It can lane against most mids in the meta. Deals with Sven. You can kite him before BKB. Even after BKB, Lina is very fast.
Is TA banned?
No.
and that's a magical hero.
The magical hero, yeah.
It matches well up against mostly heroes, but Enigma's a little scary for it. I think it's a safer pick though.
Yeah, Warlock's got the Enigma covered, so he doesn't have to worry about that. He just has to, win the Lina's lane and be a boss. I think it's pretty good against SD Ogre too, like those two squishy. Well, Ogre's not that squishy, but I think it's kind of linear on tankiness, so it's gonna hit a limit, especially on position 4, if it is being played as a position 4.
As much as it feels like maybe they should ban TA, you see they ban Brood, and you're like, well, yeah, you don't want to get 10-pick Brooded in a BO1 elimination match, so it makes sense, you pick the lesser of the two evils maybe, assuming they even pick TA.
Well, Mag seems like very confident right now, the Navi's coach, so.
Oh, this is another Na'Vi special sniper.
It is pretty good against Lina too. I mean, Gunnar, you can talk about it. You're the mid player.
The Lina sniper matchup is kind of even the mid game, or the mid lane. Once it gets to the mid game, the sniper outranges the Lina, which is one of the few heroes in the game that can actually outrange a Lina. So you have this kind of out exterior fighter range where she'll try to stun range you, but her Laguna and her Aether Lens, these kind of things, they're not even far enough to hit the sniper with Dragon Lance and max attack range or take aim.
From what it feels like, Na'Vi seems to have the better draft. How Mineski has to play this is with better vision, I think. They have to fight not with the Hawk and just fight under their ward. So Enigma can find the Warlock and they just basically have to watch where the Warlock is.
The vision game is so important. That's something where this Beastmaster Hulk needs to be dealt with and controlled.
Yes.
You can't just let him have full vision of the entire map, otherwise Na'Vi will pick and choose their fights and take control of the map very easily.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of easier for them as they have a Wraith King. The Wraith King can run in and start a fight. And when they maybe clump around his ult, when he reincarnates, they get a 2-3-man black hole. Even if it gets interrupted, it kind of buys the whole team enough time to get in. They get the BKB popped on the Wraith King maybe. They get this Radiance burn. They're doing a little damage,
Yeah. It's gonna be a battle of drawing each other's positions out. The Lina Sniper and Enigma Warlock, these key heroes. They wanna bait each other out.
Okay. Have your thoughts? You said you maybe ever so slightly favor Mineski. Does the draft maybe lean you a bit back towards Na'Vi now?
Yeah, I think I'm slightly towards on Navi's side. I kind of don't agree on the Enigma pick. He's going to have a hard time in the game. They have to find a Warlock first before engaging. And I think it's going to be pretty hard because Sniper is going to be pushing out everything with the superior range advantage.
You have shrapnel on side lanes and mid. You can just shrapnel the lane out. You don't even have to show your hero. I think their team fight's really strong with the Fatal Bonds and then the Magnetize and even the Sven.
Yeah.
A cleave with the Fatal Bonds and 2-3 heroes, 4 heroes, 5. Everyone's dead.
Yeah, but Mineski do have their comfort pick, so. It's gonna be a pretty exciting game.
I mean, comfort pick's the name of the game in these BO1s sometimes. Very clear,
Yeah.
Na'Vi recognize that, they go for it a lot. They also added that extra element of team fight with the Warlock, so really big team fights is going to be the name of the game. That's what you're shooting for.
Yeah, definitely.
I think the game will be exciting around 20-30 minutes. This Enigma BKB, they're going to try to bait out spells, and it'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, we don't see any chance there'll be a big explosion in the early game. We're going to go over to Casey on the stage. He's got Mag with him.
I'll help my
That
weakened
was skill, all right.
where I can.
You were beneath me.
That's right, it's time for our final match of the night. We're going late into the night, and there's still a decent amount of audience here, and they've been cheering very loudly for both these teams, Mineski versus Na'Vi. Let's head into the game as we are going to be seeing the bounties unfold quite soon. And as we heard from Mag, I mean, I feel like both teams definitely just picked their signature heroes. I mean, they picked Enigma
30
into
seconds to
Warlock and Earth Spirit and Beastmaster, but at the end of the day, it's still a KP classic.
Yeah. I mean, what do you really expect him to say in that position, though? Like, oh man, we got completely outdrafted. I should probably not do my job. We lost in
I
12
did a
minutes.
bad job. I'll be honest with you. I didn't even look at what Mineski's been picking. Hey, there's an interesting man on the screen right there. Nico Baby just completely bypassed attending DPC events and went straight to TI.
That's the Ana.
Yep.
You just kind of show up, slow roll your way to TI.
Rebounding runes for Na'Vi. Things already off to a great start for the CIS team.
And Na'Vi, during the player intros earlier during the opening ceremony, you can still tell this organization carries weight.
Yeah. And I think they probably won over some fans, given their like kind of steady and consistent performance throughout the year, where they've just kind of built up over and over. You heard in the interview that Seneko felt like this is a team that he finally really built from the ground up and really believed in, and would love to be able to take the Aegis with the crew like this, especially with Crystallized now taking more of a leadership role. As he said, he felt like he wasn't really playing with peers so much as people that he respected and looked up to.
This mid lane matchup, Lina versus Sniper. Moon, of course, long heralded as one of the superstars of Southeast Asia, just wasn't really able to show it that much this year, as Mineski did not do so hot. And on the flip side of things, you have Magical, who I think is a very snowbally player. Like, this guy needs a good laning phase, needs to continue from that, as First Blood
Rangy
taken by
Potato
Mineski.
pulls it up out on
Dire's top
Blizzy.
tower is under attack.
As they're just going for the full defensive tri-lane, and KP's just going to be playing this off-lane solo Enigma, pulling the lane back for himself. Seems like they really want to secure this classic Nico Baby Wraith King, a strong start to the game.
I think Wraith King is going to be... I don't know. I think this is a really hard Wraith King. Like, if you look at the other heroes, I feel like this Fen just kind of eats him up, and the Sniper can just outrange him and sort of play from afar. He's got multiple ways to distance himself if he goes for Dragonlance, Hurricane Pike. Once he gets to BKB, the stun becomes relatively ineffective. And this is going to be a really hard game for Mineski to feel comfortable going late game in. And that's kind of wild to say, considering you have an Enigma in your squad.
Yeah. And perhaps like Wraith King is like a really good hero to be able to push down towers, so maybe that's why Mineski's taking this approach. They think if they get Nico Baby ahead at the start, he gets this fast Hand of Midas, a faster Radiance, he's gonna hit that really big mid-game swing where he could just mow down towers and they won't have to worry about the lane.
I think you can't play this Enigma like a neutral late game hero. I sort of feel like you have to go for a more mid-game oriented play. Play around the fact that your Wraith King will hit like this 2-item timing and just sort of go for it. Because I feel like the game, the longer it goes on, you're just asking to lose, because Seneko will hit a rock on you. It's so much harder for Mineski to execute their lineup once it gets to like the 35-minute mark.
That's exactly why Febby and Gunnar did disagree with the pick so heavily, but we'll see what team fight build KP is able to pull out.
I mean, there's something to be said for comfort picks too, which is what people seem to be favoring so far. Like, you saw Hector was like, no matter what, I'm going to play Wraith King. And, you know, fair play. It's what he's good at. It's what he's comfortable with. You're in a best of one situation. You want your team to not stress. And the best way for your team not to stress, pick them what they know how to play. Who cares about the situation?
Nice roll in. If they can get the kick onto him as well. Moon's going to go for the early TP away, but it barely gets him out in time.
Still, it's going to hurt his lane a lot.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Has to TP all the way back. This is going to give Magical at least a full minute of space.
Well, don't worry. Old Ninja Boogie is going to trundle along as the Ogre Magi and collect what little of the gold and experience he can while the Lina is away. But this is a matchup that Gunnar said was supposed to be relatively even, but eventually the sniper does prove to be superior just because of his range.
This Blizzy, and he just continues to get forced out of his lane. I mean, the best part about Mineski's offlane, Enigma can just always idle on the range creep, and it'll eventually pull back to him. Plus, you're just denying a lot of XP for the enemy carry. Whereas, like, up at top lane, Nico Baby should have a relatively free time, considering it's a Beastmaster who's level 3. He's largely been jungling.
Magical. Playing the right-hand side because he knows about this rotation thanks to Blizzy's board that was set up on the high ground.
You know what the crazy part is? The Lina's actually ahead in CS, despite being forced out of so many of those waves.
Yeah.
Doing just fine for himself. In fact, they're identical, tied.
Is that just the nuking advantage that Alina has?
Yeah, I think it's just easier because you can always get harass going while simultaneously farming the range creep. Like, it's impossible to deny Lina range creep unless you really mess up.
Enigma doesn't have much way to contest the bounty runes, and this Beastmaster's pretty locked in, so both teams just splitting the bounties and all their supports with a heavy eye towards that mid lane. You see Zayats, who had that 71% win rate of the 7 matches that he played during the group stage. Here on the main stage, he's looking to play what he's most comfortable with, and has already had one successful rotation on the Lina, looking for another, but that's where Ninja Boogie comes in. It's just kind of babysitting Moon, making sure that if somebody does try and roll in, he will be there to respond.
So far, so good for Mineski as they continue to hold their kill lead.
Dire's structures are
Blizzy's game continues to be really rough as KP has no problems with just jungling. And if you look at his item build cap, he's deciding to go for the flats. This was, I believe, the correct decision.
Yeah.
Play for the mid game. That's what we wanted to see out of Mineski for them to win this game. Because we do feel like, I don't want to speak for you, but I think they're a little bit outdrafted.
Yeah.
It never feels good having to go for these sorts of items or plays because you know the onus is on you to end, and I feel like playing late game is almost always easier in a best of one situation.
Especially at TI where the pressure is so high. If you're Mineski, you know that, especially like in Nico Baby's position or something like that, like if you throw one team fight, the game just kind of could be over because Na'Vi are just naturally going to outscale you with this Sven and Sniper duo, even a Beastmaster being able to push you nice and late game. Both teams, nice roll-in from Zayats, will be able to kick him back into the shrapnel here. Moon trying to get away, another third round of the shrapnel, and the assassination not actually going to go out. That's because the Ogre's just running at the Sniper right now, thinks about it again, but the bottle hit will allow Moon to stay alive, and it's Zayats who dies instead.
Yeah, luckily for Magical, it wasn't the Lina that got the last hit on that, and in fact, this is going to prompt Moon to go back towards the shrine area. It's going to continue to give Magical a little bit of a free lane, but this is just helping him catch up, not even get ahead. Bottom lane.
They are going to be able to catch KP. They say this Enigma has been farming a bit too long, as he's been spending about half his time in the lane, the other half inside of the jungle,
is under attack.
while the smoke up came in from Mineski. They smoked up about the same time that Lina went for the shrine, and Raging Potato's just running for it. But you have that ward from Magical that's going to be able to see a bit farther to that left-hand side during this nighttime.
Dire's bottom tower
And
is
he
under
quickly
attack.
gets out of the way of that gank. On the upside, though, Nico Baby is still top CS. And so all that defensive tri-lane space has warranted a very farm carry that's really trying to pressure this tower. And if they can actually kill Blizzy, it would be fantastic for them. But Blizzy just positioned a little bit too passive for Nico Baby to be able to threaten him past that Great Fire Blast. And instead, it's all about the early objective.
Nico Baby has had pretty much nobody in his lane half the time.
They're gonna try again here, but the TP coming out. Quickly giving it up as Seneko shows up to give Blizzy a helping hand.
KP just about to complete the Vlads. Wonder if somebody rotates in terms so they could finally start to pressure the tower in this bottom lane area.
I think that's why the Red King is trying so hard to take this off-lane tower, right? Is that he feels like, once I do this and I build up the skeletons again, I'm going to go bottom lane. We're going to take that tower down. We're going to start pressuring the tier 2. Let's take these objectives early. But look at the stack that's going on right now. Raging Potato, 5 stacks of poison, does get a last hit on all of the weaker creeps there, but leaves the rest at half health for the Beastmaster to potentially clean up. He's still going to try and get it with more Shadow Poisons, just going to expend his entire mana pool if possible. And that's going to be a decent amount of farm for him. He's now level 5.
And Zayats, he's going to go mid, soak up the rest of the XP, try to catch up in levels. Raging Potato, like you said, doing just fine for himself. He's going to farm this jungle area with Moon. He'll get his level 6 no problem, but Zayats, with nobody in this mid lane,
Intimidated about it. Blizzy is going to go for the kill here. It actually pushes the Lina away, and from a distance, they're going to try and poke at Raging Potato and see if they can bring him down. The Shadow Word is not going to come with the damage fast enough. He will TP to the fountain to safety, and that'll be Mineski picking up a large share of bounty runes there, 3 of the 4.
And you see Raging Potato, he's already got Arcane Boots almost as the Aether Lens. His position seems just fine.
That damn tower is still alive. Blizzy, Seneko, they're just doing a really good job making sure to pull the creep wave off. Nico Baby, I'm sure, is saying this is the final hurrah with the skeletons and the second round of the catapults. They're just gonna go for it.
Yeah. The only downside about pushing a tower like this, Cap, into the enemy offlane is, simply put, you're giving up free XP.
Yeah.
It's really easy nowadays. You can just Fatal Bonds and run away. And it's going to keep the tower relatively healthy, and this is going to allow Seneko, I mean, he's going to grab the tome anyways, but he would get it pretty soon after without use of it.
An interesting idea from Nico Baby, just spotting the skeletons to push that in. The catapult will get the damage on the tower, but he's going to rotate down to bottom, where he thinks Na'Vi is going to try and show up for a fight, and he would be right, but can they actually punish them? As they get spotted, Raging Potato is going to be able to get the disruption if needed to stop the Earth Spirit roll away, but it's just not. They have too many stuns here. Mineski do manage to get that kill with the Siege Wagon still alive. They can keep going. If they want, they can try for a tier 2 here, where Na'Vi a little bit slower to go for it because of that skeleton push. They're going to try and go and mirror.
I sort of feel like giving up this tier 2 tower, though, is a mistake. We talked about how Na'Vi needs to keep pace. Like, even though you have the late game secured, you can't allow Mineski this sort of win condition. Like, this is the best chance for Mineski to have, which is why Magical makes his way down towards bottom. He stops his farm in the jungle to deal with this. I think this is the right idea. Don't just demonstrate that you're willing to give up towers for free. On the downside, Mineski just gonna outmaneuver Na'Vi right here.
Yeah,
I really like this maneuver. Getting this mid-tier 1 tower, guys, is even more important than taking that tier 2 tower at bottom, just for the purposes of controlling that jungle area.
And the more jungle area you control, the better it is for heroes like Wraith King and Enigma, right? Because they thrive off of open access to jungle areas through the Eidolons and the skeletons. Mineski are not shying away from protecting their own jungle as well, but maybe that's where Na'Vi strikes here. Ninja Boogie, he's in position here. He's going to try and kill the Hawk. A healthy bit of experience for any support that's a bit lacking, but positioning himself to be able to break the smoke and may not even die for it. And sure enough, they're a bit scared to dive this tier 2. They're going to try and go for it now, but Zayats really wants to go for that back line. He wants to stop Moon, but now Moon's going to turn and quickly kill him as they tried far too hard to make that action happen. Mineski were well aware of what was happening there, I think.
I think Na'Vi right now is just sort of getting red around the map. Like, anywhere they seem to go towards that top lane push, they're sort of getting corralled. Magical makes his way down towards bottom. Moon is already directing his team to come towards mid to take that tower. These are just clean, crisp maneuvers, and Na'Vi, I mean, they're gonna run into the problem where their lineup, yes, they can go into the late game just fine, but if Mineski just sort of deny them the overall like big 5-on-5 team fight, and they just sort of outplay them and outmaneuver them and get these minor pickoffs, they will eventually be able to snowball. And Nico Baby's gonna hit this really nice Radiance timing where they can fight behind, and they can back him up with the disruption. Like, things are not looking all that grim for them.
And Mineski has like a very solid 20-minute timer where with the Radiance and the Lina who's coming online about that point, especially with all the team fight items flowing in from the Enigma, they are actually going to be really strong in the 5-man in their own right, where Navi's lineup, all 3 of their cores are going to need a little bit more time.
Yeah,
Nico Baby, he's going to be Primal Roared here. He does have Reincarnation. This is very heavy commitment from Na'Vi, so that's going to be the first life. But now Mineski is here. They're going to be able to throw out the perch on his Zion. Soul Catcher as well. They're going to drop the goal. I'm trying to finish off Nico Baby in his second life. He gets to the high ground. Disruption now coming in from behind. Moon and Ninja Boogie, a pair to be able to follow up on the Earth Spirit. Now Magical as well, who's dead. He just tries to lay out as much damage on Lina as possible. Even the Golem coming in for a helping hand. But Mineski easily routing Na'Vi once again.
And that was the buyback too from Zayats. I think he assumed that the fight would continue. We saw what happened in the last game. If you go on this Wraith King, he just respawns, guys.
That is what his ultimate does, yes.
This is a PSA
means.
This is a PSA for Na'Vi.
Yeah.
And for Keen, because I genuinely at this point don't know if they know that, because that's twice now that they try to make that play and they're gonna get gone on. There's no ultimates on the side of Na'Vi.
Zion's
Gotta be careful here.
Does manage to get a really good silence. So look at that ultimate. Oh, Na'Vi, they can turn things around, especially with that fatal bombs that take damage over time. They've already finished up the Lina. Raging Potato's just gonna die to the assassination of Magical, and Ninja Boogie gets cleaned up as well. They challenge for bounties, and this time Mineski gets shut down rapidly.
And if Mineski conversely is going to make a play like that, they need to have more heroes there.
Yeah.
They still have the black hole. You at least need to threaten that. Going 3 men into the high ground with no vision seems just a little bit scary. Nice recovery from Na'Vi. Counted them out a second too late. But still, that was such a head scratcher of a fight they took.
Absolutely. I mean, the fact that they still had Golem, they still had all their ultimates up, and Mineski didn't have Reincarnation, it's pretty obvious that Nico Baby wouldn't want to fight there. Now KP, he's going to drop the black hole, yes, and it will hold him there for a while, but a Primal Roar finishes him off. Crystallize, a multi-cast on him with Lina here as well. Laguna Blade cuts him down. Now he's going to be able to get the Eul Scepter LSA onto Seneko as well. Call it a 2-fer for Moon, as he managed to help get 2 of those kills. Blizzy, possibly a 3rd, but it's just hidden away in the trees here.
By the way, I think you can make that play if you took the mid tower. This is why the mid tower is so important. But Wraith King, he just got immediate support. In that situation up at top lane though, Na'Vi, they just overstayed their welcome. And that seems like it's sort of the story of this game so far. It's whoever overstays their welcome just sort of gets wrecked. Both teams being a little bit sloppy.
And Mineski wants to win the last fight, but the Golem is coming back up for the Warlock. They should not feel like they are that much stronger. A very even game, it seems. 5-8, 17 minutes in with a 2,000 net worth lead for Mineski, but they do have the faster lineup. And they do have that Midas plus Radiance on the Wraith King. Denied tower. Once again, the tier 2 was denied by Moon. Now it's Blizzy's turn to deny the tier 1.
And if you're Nico, baby, you want this game to sort of reset for yourself just a little bit at least. And he's 0-0-3. He feels like he's done a perfectly adequate job. Things seem fine. Hasn't died once this game.
First to be able to cross that 10K threshold as well from all those farming items. Probably telling his team, let's just chill until every single time Reincarnation's up, we can take 1 fight. And then from there, the split push. But I love this. The Blink Dagger pickup from the Sven. Na'Vi trying to enable some earlier timings for their cores because those cores are kind of greedy. Certain items like Blink Dagger can speed your lineup up. Smoke up from Na'Vi as they start moving across the map.
I think the next timing though is BKB. Like, they got a few shots at this, but once Sven gets BKB, this is when he's going to ignore the Radiance. He's not going to care about any of that. He's going to get on top of the Wraith King, and he's going to pop his first and second life so quickly. Like, Wraith King does not come that equipped with armor, which is why he has to go for the AC. I think one time we saw this matchup and he didn't is...
Oh, Science! He's been
nice
very
kickoff.
headstrong about who he wants to go for, just always trying to gun down Moon, but keeps on being repelled back by that Yule Scepter.
I don't even know if I can really call that a pickoff, considering he just sort of walked into his waiting arms, and now the push towards this bottom lane is finally going to come. They faked it out towards mid last time, but
Radiant's bottom
This time around, they will finish that commitment to the tier 2. Any more map control, and Mineski, they're going to start running out of objectives to take the